I've got my 2020 Mazda. I bought it in November on Black Friday after painfully trading in my Scion FRS. The old sports car is gone, and now I'm living the SUV life. It was painful for me to sell my old car that I had driven all across the country. It was an incredible car, but the northern roads in this country are all awful. Michigan roads are terrible. New York roads and New Jersey roads are not very well kept either. I had hit some horrific potholes that honestly made me thought I would split the car in two. It was a miracle that thing still works sometimes. So that's why I decided it was time to get an SUV. I have things like all-wheel drive. I have 4 doors, which I've never had in my life. I have always had ridiculously small backseat vehicles where whenever I'd have a friend or family member go in there, I'd get complaints of, no leg room, feelings of claustrophobia, not having a practical car, you name it. I like the design because even though it's not a luxury brand like your Porsches and your BMWs, it's got a very sophisticated but, appealing sporty design language that comes from the Mazda Kodo design philosophy, the soul of motion vibes, where you have some interesting angular points here, but it does flow when you go, from front to the back of the vehicle, and you really capture that unique Japanese essence. These days, and this is my opinion, the major Japanese brands of Honda, Toyota, Nissan to an extent, they do try to emulate more of the American likes and vibes, especially by having more boxy and burly looking SUVs to give the adventurous and off-road feel. That does carry weight, but at the same time, most people who buy these SUVs, they're not going to go off-roading. People who go off-roading, they're going to buy Ford Broncos, Jeep Wranglers, Toyota 4Runners. They may go to like a Whole Foods to buy s'mores and graham crackers to make the marshmallow s'more snacks. But it's an urban vehicle, or a vehicle that you can, drive in the suburbs and feel fine. You're going to have all-wheel drive for, the inclement weather, which, trust me, has been a big help for me. I never got stuck in the snow with this thing. Michigan, we get a good amount of snow. Also, if you're not buying it new, and if Mazda were to discontinue this is a great used buy. I bought this vehicle used. I was able to find it as a certified pre-owned vehicle, which has Mazda's warranty, but it is something that people should look into. I've been in various makes and models from this, segment that the CX-5 competes in. I've been in GMC Terrains, I've been in Toyota RAV4, Chevy Equinoxes, Honda CR-Vs, Volkswagen Tiguan's, and to me, I will say the Mazda really does, exceed expectations in this category. You have pretty nice seats, actually. These seats have their synthetic leather with their Mazda suede luxe material right here. It's a suede material. I will say it's kind of a pain to keep clean, but when it looks clean, it does look really nice. Overall, the seating position is great. The steering wheel, when it's in its normal position, it does feel great. You can easily have, good hand positioning here. Like any vehicle in this category, you're going to have your basic controls for cruise control, and this is the distance for the radar guided cruise control, audio settings for volume, skipping songs, for phone usage. So you'll have those general settings, and here you have your center console area. It's very well laid out, actually. This is a touchscreen, so you can do, as I just showed you, you can touch the screen. However, I don't like touching the screen because it's a fingerprint magnet. So with that, I typically will use the center control knob here so I can move between the different settings. So while driving, I can be in a good position here and just place my hand here while not taking my eyes off the road to, access the volume knob, or I can obviously use the steering wheel controls here and here. I haven't had any glitches, thankfully. It's pretty smooth as I move through the different options. You'll see, the basics. And to return to the home screen, you can either use the touch point there, or down here you have the different buttons. So if I press this home button here, it returns me to the home screen regardless of if my phone is connected for use of Apple CarPlay or not. Typically though, once I have my phone plugged in, I'm running Apple CarPlay. Makes my driving experience very easy. I can listen to podcasts, my playlists, whatever. And nowadays, many car companies have been putting too much into the touchscreen, such as only having the ability to change the volume by, touching your touchscreen, which can be very annoying. I can't stand that. And then also, every time you turn off the vehicle, you'll see layers and layers of fingerprint smudges all over the place. If you like to keep a clean vehicle like me, that is the worst thing to see. Overall, it's a very pleasant vehicle to drive. It's nice. It has a nimble feel, and it doesn't feel actually very heavy for an SUV. And especially, this is for a person coming from small vehicles like the Scion FRS. It feels, like tossable, and it feels like I can, take a turn at good speeds. And it's funny, actually. So, a couple that I'm very good friends with, they actually have a 2020 Mazda CX-5 as well. They actually have a different engine, though. They have the turbocharged version. So they have both a Toyota RAV4 hybrid and a Mazda CX-5, and they find the CX-5 more enjoyable to drive between the two. They said this one feels sportier, and you have a nice little bend coming up here. And the Mazda takes it with limited body roll, further giving me that belief that it's, got some sporty cred to it. And it is funny because Mazda, in all their marketing events and stuff, they always like to say that all their vehicles have like the soul of the Mazda MX-5. They're, sporty little roadster, the Miata. Also, it's a very quiet vehicle. With a lot of the vehicles in this class, they often have very unrefined, cheap corporate four-cylinder motors that are just thrown into their, SUVs, and they sound like they really struggle. So I'm able to carry a conversation with a passenger or passengers without issue, and we're about to hop on the expressway right here.
0 to 60.
Come on, old girl. Show some pep in your step. Very nice, easy driving. But here, we're going to get close to 70 miles an hour in that range. As we always follow the speed limit, you're not going to have any issues driving this car in 99% of the situations you're in. So, in this vehicle, the brakes, in my opinion, they're not very remarkable. Sometimes I feel like they could be, they could have, better action in terms of when the driver's applying brakes. Just be more reactive. That's something I'd like in this vehicle. Overall, it is a really good vehicle. It can fit many lifestyles. If you're a single person, a newly married couple that has one vehicle, a young family that has a few kids, or empty nesters that don't have any kids but you still want to have a vehicle with decent space, good fuel economy, a variety of engines to choose from, whether if it's the naturally aspirated engine like what I have or the turbocharged engine that's also available. It's a great vehicle overall. I've enjoyed owning this vehicle for the last few months, and I think I'll get many good years of owning it. We'll leave it at that.